For young gay men, one of the most daunting aspects of coming out can be how to tell your father. It's particularly tricky if your dad is conservative, and even more so if he comes from a culture with no strong tradition of gay rights. And in a new blog entitled The 10 Stages of Coming Out to My Conservative Chinese Father, Keay Nigel relates his dad's reaction, including a suggestion that he go to the doctor and get treated, and that he hang out with girls more often. Nigel joins us now. Thanks for being here. What was the catalyst for coming out to your dad?
Well, it was last February, and it was during the Chinese New Year period. And if you haven't known about Chinese New Year, it's where all the extended families come together and, in a big gathering to reunion and catch up with one another. So I have like a huge family. We have like 90, 100 people in one sitting. And my parents, only my dad don't know about me being gay. My mom and my sister, they know about it. And I'm really open with posting pictures of me and my partner on Facebook and on Instagram. And some of my cousins actually follow me on these social media platforms. And so I'm afraid that during Chinese New Year, when my dad is gonna see them, then they're gonna like gossip and talk about me. And then I don't want my dad to be knowing that his son is gay through that avenue of, hearing about gossip from this aunt and that uncle. So I thought that I have to come up to him, I have to respect him enough to talk to him personally and tell him that I'm gay.
Did you think that he probably knew on some level? How did you expect him to react?
I think he might have his suspicions because I never brought like a girlfriend back or, bring her to our family gatherings and stuff like that. But because I came out to my sister and my mom a few years back, and then they're actually pretty okay. At first they might be surprised, but then over time they sort of warm up to the idea, and you'll be like, it's your life, do what you do. So they're pretty cool with that. And I thought that my dad is going to be as okay, and he's going to tell me that it's your life, you can live however you like, just as long as you're happy. I thought my dad is going to give me that response, but then he went like totally on the opposite side.
Yeah, so explain what happened.
Well, so I sat him down, and I opened up the topic by telling him that I have a boyfriend, and I started this way because I wanted him to know that that I'm serious about the relationship, and then we had plans to move in together, and we might marry in the future and have kids, and I want him to know that this is serious. This is how I am now, and this is how I'm gonna be in the future.
Yeah, and his sense was that this is going to make him unhappy, and that you need to get treatment and you should spend more time with girls. What aspect of his response was the most surprising to you?
I think it's about the going to see the doctor part. Like he was like, you wouldn't have been like this if you had gotten it treated like years before, when you initially know that you're different. Yeah. So he's like, why didn't you go see the doctor beforehand? You could have, gotten some kind of therapy at a psychologist or something. So that one really shocked me because I didn't know that he was so uninformed about the subject. And it just came off as really offensive to me.
And it seems like he had a sense that it's impossible to live a fulfilling, loving life as a gay person, that you might be happy now, but in the long run, you're unaware that you're depriving yourself of the potential for happiness.
Well, because like in a typical Chinese family, you always have the dad and the mom, and you have children. And in my family, like my grandparents, they have like 15 kids. I come from a really huge family, and so in the family, all my cousins, they have married already. They have like at least 2 to 3 kids. So I think my dad was expecting me to follow their lead. And whenever people think of like a happy family, it's always like a mom and a dad and 2 kids. So my dad had this like image fixated in his mind that that is the route to happiness. And I don't think he knows that like gay people can get married as well. And how am I gonna have my own kids when there's no like female in the relationship?
It ended up okay. It ended up on a high note. Can you explain what happened?
It's funny actually. So in the end, it was like a 2 to 3 hours conversation. We were sort of like having a debate, and he was throwing a point that I'm like refuting, or like I was like giving my explanation. So after this long talk, I was just really relieved when he said like, son, I still love you, and you're my son. You'll forever be my son. You'll always be my son. And he was just repeating, saying like the word son to me. And then I was like, does he think that I'm going to become a woman? In the sense, like, I think he was mistaking being gay as being trans as well. That I'm going to be a transgender woman in the future. Which then I was telling like, no, I'm not going to become a woman. I'm not going to be dressing up as a woman in women's clothes. I'm still going to be a man. Yeah, and then I don't know. He's still very confused at the end of the conversation, even though I try to convince him that I'm going to be a gay man.
Yeah, it's a lot to absorb. Do you have any tips or any helpful suggestions for other people who might be about to come out to a conservative father?
Oh, this is a tough one. It takes time. It really takes time, and coming out is not like a singular event where you just come out and then that's it. The conversation goes on and on. Coming out is gonna happen again and again and again with the same person or with a different person that you meet later on. It's a long process, and then you have to have a lot of patience. Once you come out, you're gonna keep doing it again and again. But the good news is that once you get the hang of it, it's gonna be convenient. It's not gonna be too tough. The more you do it, the easier it's gonna get. And yeah, I think you have to be prepared. You have to know that it takes time, and you have to be patient with the person that you are going to open up to.